Parshas Noach, it says after the end of the flood, after the end of the Mabul, so everybody left the Teva. Adam left Noach left the Teva, his children left, his wife, his children's wife. And then it says on all the animal kingdom, the animals, the insects, the birds, everybody left. And then there's a few words that the pasuk has, L'mishpachosehem yotzu min ha-teva. They left with to their families. Talking about the animal kingdom. They left the Teva. What does it mean to their families? Rashi gives his explanation. The Medrash gives a cryptic explanation to these words, L'mishpachosehem. The Medrash comments, and it's brought in the Gemara in Sanhedrin. Gemara in Sanhedrin says, they left to their families, but not themselves. How do we understand it? L'mishpachosehem yotzu v'lo yehem, and not themselves. They left to their families, but not themselves. We don't understand what the Medrash what the Gemara is trying to teach us. And the Gemara immediately after that brings an interesting, very interesting story, which we have to understand the connection between that story, the dialogue between Eliezer, the servant of Avram, and Shem. We know that Shem was the son of Noach. 10 generations later was Avram, and Eliezer, the servant of Avram, meets Shem. Shem was still alive. Unbelievable. 10 generations later. And Eliezer meets Shem and says, I don't understand. It says the Mishpachosehem, the animals left to their families. Where were you? What happened to you? And Shem gives a long-winded answer. You don't realize what it was in the Teva. We had to feed the animals. There were some animals that only ate during the day. There were animals that ate in the middle of the night. Can you imagine feeding animals day and night? That we had to find the right food for each animal. There was one animal we didn't even know what to feed him. We found it by accident. We figured out what to feed him. It's going through a whole explanation of how difficult it was to feed the animals in the Teva. What was Eliezer's question? What was Shem's answer? What's going on here? What does it have to do with the pasuk that the animals left to their families, and as the Gemara says, and not themselves? There was a very interesting personality. His name was Rav Nosson Nota Alevsky. Rav Nosson Nota Alevsky was a Rav in Siberia, near Kutsk, in the 20th century. At the end of his life, he moved to Moscow. In 1966, he died in Moscow. But before that, he was in contact, in written contact. He exchanged letters with the Rogachover Goyim, Zecher Tzadik Livrocha. He was well known and well respected among the Russian Rabbanim, and he was stuck out in Siberia until the end of his life. He moved to Moscow. Recently, in 1999, they put out one of his works on Chumash. It's called Meir Eini Yisrael. In that work, in that sefer, he brings this medrash, he brings this Gemara, and he gives a very, very detailed explanation, very interesting explanation, and I want to focus on one of the parts that he explains, specifically this pasuk, Mishpachosehem v'lo yehem. What does it mean to their families and not themselves? We know that when they were on the Teva, we have to understand that there was a certain amount of harmony among the animal kingdom. How could it be that in one structure, okay, it was a very big Teva, it was a very big ark, but still having lions, bears, giraffes, zebras, cows, sheep, all together, mosquitoes, flies, anything you can think of, any type of insect or bird or animal lived on this Teva, and they didn't touch each other. Nobody interfered with each other. They lived in perfect harmony for that entire year. Okay, there was a special miracle that none of them died, but a separate miracle that they didn't damage it. There was predators, there was prey. How did the lions live next door to the deer and to the zebra? Maybe they were separated somehow, but all in one Teva together, it's an unbelievable thing. It's an unbelievable feat. It's a miracle. It's miraculous. And it wasn't by accident. HaKadosh Baruch Hu made it that they should live together. But when they left the Teva, Hashem gave them a command. L'mishpachosehem, leave to your families. Go back to your original natural instincts. You're a predator, you continue predating now. You, the lion, now you can attack the zebra, you can attack the sheep. The bears can attack the cows. It's not going to be like the Nevuah of Yeshaya, that the bears will live in harmony with the cows, and the wolf will live with the lamb. It's not like that now. Now you go back to your original instincts, and go ahead and hunt. If you're a hunting animal, hunt the animals. L'mishpachosehem. Says the pasuk, says the Gemara, L'mishpachosehem v'lo yehem. But within their own families, within their own groups, they kept this harmony. And you don't find, it's very rare to find a lion attacking a lion, a bear attacking another bear, a wolf attacking a wolf attacks a lamb, a bear attacks a cow, but a bear doesn't attack another bear. It doesn't rip up. It doesn't attack its own. Why? Because there's a certain amount of harmony that remains within the family. Within the family of bears, it's a bear family. It's a wolf family. It's a lion family. This is what happens in the world of Mishpachosehem v'lo yehem. Eliezer, the servant of Avram, internalizes this message, and he turns to Shem, who is his master's great-great-great-great-grandfather, and says, what is going on with the world? Don't you see what's happening? Where were you? If the animals can do it, why can't the people do it? Why can't the shepherds of Avram get along with the shepherds of Lot? Next week's parsha. Why is there a war between the 4 kings and the 5 kings? Eliezer says, Shem, I don't understand what happened to you. I guess, says Eliezer, when you left the ark, when you left the Teva, you didn't leave like the animals left. The animals left in harmony. They were able to keep within their own families this harmony. We don't see until today a lion attacking a lion, but a person attacks a person. Why? I guess when you left the Teva, you and Chum and Yafes, you weren't living in harmony with each other. You were lacking that connection, because if you had the connection, then it would have been given over to all of your descendants, and there wouldn't be war, there wouldn't be conflict. And Shem, says Rabbi Levsky, he concedes to Eliezer that he's right. Yes, this reality is that people cannot live in harmony amongst themselves. And I don't know why, but I can tell you that it was terrible in the Teva. We didn't sleep. We had a year of hell that we were feeding these animals day and night. And maybe that's why we left it so shattered after the Mabul, that we didn't have the proper connection between one person and the other, between brother and brother. And that's why you see today the discord among humankind all over the world. You see from here the great responsibility that each person has for his own home, setting up his home in harmony. It can have repercussions for generations afterwards. If Shem and Chum and Yafes, according to this explanation, would have lived in harmony, would have left the Teva as brothers, connected with a connection to each other, then there would never have been, just like in the animal kingdom, there's no conflict and no wars and no discord between one animal and another within their family. The Mishpachesayim v'leiheim, they themselves did not conflict one with the other. They're able to keep their harmony within themselves, and the people could have also done it. But we have a responsibility in our own families, in our own homes, to ensure as much as possible that there should be peace in our homes, there should be harmony in our homes, so that the next generation doesn't start fighting with each other. The generation after that, our actions have repercussions for so many generations afterwards. And that is the secret of the Medrash, of the Gemara, Mishpachesayim v'leiheim, and the discussion between Shem and Eliezer, Eved Avram. Good Shabbos. Please don't forget to subscribe. You'll get the video every week by subscribing. Put a like. Thank you very much. Good Shabbos.